Alright, this is going to be a series I'm starting, teaching other people how to trade, basically from ground zero. Today we're going to break down candlesticks, not just what they are, but what they're actually telling you. Once this clicks, charts can make a lot more sense. Every single candle gives you 4 pieces of information. It has your open, where price started when that candle began, has your close, where price ended when it closed, has your high, the highest point reached during that candle, and it has the low, the lowest point reached. That's it. It's 4 numbers, one shape, and they together tell you exactly what happened during that time period, whether that's the 1 minute, a 5 minute, 1 hour, or daily chart. Let's hop over to this chart right here. So this is going to be June 2nd on MNQ. I just want to talk about these candlesticks a little bit and actually draw out a few. So if you have your candlestick here, your normal candlestick, here's going to be, say this is a green candlestick. We'll change it. This is going to be green. So if this is green, that means your open was right here. That means your close was right here. It means price pushed down before it went up and closed green. And then this is going to be where price pushed and sellers stepped in. So obviously that's going to make probably not much sense at first, since these are new concepts to most people that are going to be watching this video. So let's go and actually look at some actual candlesticks. So here the whites are going to be your green and the blacks are going to be your reds. Mine are flipped. So I want to talk about a few in particular. So just like what I said, since this is a green candlestick right here, we'll highlight this one right here. This is going to be your open on the candle, and this is going to be your close of the candle. Price pushed down, leaving this wick, where this is where buyers stepped in and pushed price higher. And then buyers actually failed to gain these levels, hence sellers stepped in and pushed price down, leaving these long wicks. Wicks can actually tell you a lot about candles and their actual general direction of where they're going. So like, for example, today on the 1 hour, right here. So you can see sellers were really aggressive in this area. They pushed price down all the way. And then actually buyers stepped in at this level to push price higher. So what this tells us is that buyers are stepping in at these levels to push price higher, indicating probably a strong move up. Most of the time when buyers and sellers step in, it indicates reversals in directions, etc., etc. So you can see like right here, we had a strong move down. And then basically the buyer stepped in and fully engulfed this whole hourly candle right here, pushing price higher. So another thing interesting about candlesticks and what you want to watch out for is things like this right here. Wicks show weakness or like the opposing side stepping in. So right here, sellers stepped in at these levels to push price back down. Right here, buyers stepped in to push price back up. If you have candles like this, where they're full body closing candles like this candle right here, this is a strong indicator of buyers, leaving particularly no wick, meaning sellers are basically inactive in this whole body right here. They didn't fight the buyers at all, because that's basically what this is. It's a war between buyers and sellers to push price in certain directions. So here's some more. Here's a great example. So look at this. Buyers were total control all the way up until these levels here. So from 30,380s to 30,000 what 280s. Sellers actually stepped in. You can see, so this, if this is a sell candle, obviously this is your open, this is your close. So if this is where price opened, that means price push. So this candle started green, sellers were so strong they pushed it back down, and look at this movement off of the seller's strength all the way back down to 29,800s. So you can see a lot about candlesticks and how they work, how you want to watch and see how candles, like as you're trading. So if you're on like a 1 minute chart, right? You can see right here, here's a great example. This indicated strength from buyers. Even though price kind of trickled back down before they actually stepped in and moved the price, this here, this whole wick right here, shows how strong buyers are in these ranges. And even before, it even showed where sellers were super strength, lots of strength from the sellers with this candle and this candle, and then buyers actually stepped in and pushed price higher. And when it dropped back down, buyers were again in control. And this kind of also doubles into like zones and stuff. So you have your supply and your demand zones, which maybe make a whole different video on stuff like that. But like, for example, let me go on like a 15-minute chart, probably easier to find one. Yeah, so like this is I guess you could call this a whole supply zone where price kind of sells off, but I'll get into this very vaguely in this video. I'll try to keep it for another video, but this whole area here can be a supply zone. So you can see like a supply zone's where orders are filled and price sells off. So you can see the wicks that are getting thrown up in this supply zone, right? So lots of wicks. Really wicky means obviously here is going to be sellers are in control. And even though price pushed up, it eventually did sell off. And even up in here, you still have your buyers are pushing up and your sellers are pushing down, even though it's coming back up. So here, maybe if you notice the trend, buyers will push back up and then sellers will push it back down. So you just want to watch out when you're trading and notice these things when it comes to candlesticks. Obviously, there's a lot more confluences that go into things like this, but for the most part, just learning those things about candlesticks and watching out for things like that will help you in the future when it comes to just trading your actual models and stuff. So I guess that's all I have today for candlesticks. I know it was probably a pretty short video in terms of content and talking about the concept, but there's not much more you really need to know about candlesticks other than those four things that I said, which is your open, your close, your high, and your lows, and watching your wicks and your bullish candles and your bearish candles. Other than that, though, you don't need to learn anything else. So I guess that's all I have for today, and then hopefully make another video on a different concept. So.